around 2006 when I moved to Berlin, I'd been thinking about corruption and fraud and how greater financial transparency might help with that. Then in around 2008, I was actually doing some music in Athens for a theater piece, and like during my breaks, I was walking around, and I saw all these EU-funded construction projects there, and I said to the set designer, I said that this is really cool, you know, like all this investment going on here. She said, yeah, but Simon, there's so much corruption here, right? And we know what happened to Greece, you know, and so on. And so at that time, I resolved to kind of do something about this open banking ideas. And then a mate of mine said, well, I think in 2009, he said, look, there's this EU kind of forum that you can apply with ideas. And so in February 2010, I presented these open bank project ideas to a whole bunch of EU kind of IT people. The idea is that you can open up transactions and accounts and later payment infrastructure to third-party developers, right? So instead of relying on the bank to get your data or to present your data, rather you can use like some cool apps and services to get that data, integrate it into accounting systems, or make payments in different ways and so on. You know, like through this whole open banking thing, there's lots more infrastructure around now, right? So in Europe, we have this PSD2 regulation, which says banks have to open up. And in UK, which we kind of kicked off, we kind of started the UK open banking stuff by going to the government and saying, you know, you can do this. So they have a kind of head start with it. But actually in Germany, there was this HPCI kind of interface before all this. So I think that's why there's quite a lot of startups in Germany, actually, you know, that building on this data. But basically, open banking is about being able to connect to banking data in better and faster, cooler ways, basically. An open bank project was always an open source implementation of this. Yeah, so everything we produce is open source under the Apache or AGPL licenses, depending on which bits. And our kind of another part of the game plan is really to kind of democratize this kind of open banking. A lot of this open banking, it won't even be really noticed. Yeah, it'll be like in a sense, the telephone number has enabled things like WhatsApp and so on, right? You need a telephone number and you need an IP connection. Yeah. But those things kind of sneaked up on us, and they took a long time. I mean, we've had telephone numbers for a long time. We've had IP for a long time, right? And now, you know, I mean, I don't know how many messages you send over SMS and how many over WhatsApp, but so I think that's the kind of thing that will come from open banking. It's like a slow burn, I think. I mean, obviously the regulation is quite a powerful driver. You know, it was in Europe, but I think a lot of banks spent a lot of money on just complying, and didn't go so much further yet. But the whole API-driven banking thing totally makes sense. Even if a bank wants to do the absolute minimum to comply, Yeah, they should still have like an API gateway to do all their development with, right? So even if they want to have a kind of closed open API, that makes sense, right? It's like just a good technical design to decouple these two layers. And banks need to embrace the kind of platform approaches, I think. Yeah, like the new banks, they're all API driven. Yeah, and obviously, and all the fintechs are API driven as well. And they are eating some of the bank's lunch, as it were. Yeah. The first thing is to kind of let go of this belief that you can or should do everything internally. The things that was in our very, very early slides, right? Predictions for open banking is that we would have more niche markets. Yeah. What we advise, actually, we did a report, like an internal report, but for a large bank in the UK, following the adoption of open banking in the UK. And I mean, our advice to the banks is basically to set up companies, like found new companies they are, owning or whatever subsidiaries that can function like fintechs, basically. And then those fintechs can eat the bank's own services via APIs and eat other services via APIs. But because that will allow this kind of speciality that these fintechs can then be, they can go after these special markets. The banks are facing two problems. One, like consumers are much more willing to risk things or try new things with the likes of Google, Apple, Facebook and stuff. They'll try new things with them. Yeah? And then much more readily than they will with a bank. Yeah? And then at the same time, these big tech companies, they totally understand how platforms work, how they work in a kind of spiritual sense and how they work in a technological sense,